A very good evening to the viewers who are joining us live from Kopi With Vans. As usual, before we start our talk show, that's my mark. Please don't ask me inside because it's not been coffee for the past few sessions and it's a lot of water because of the weather and the humidity. So we decided to go for water instead, right? So it's water with Vans, no, still Kopi With Vans. All right, thank you for joining another exciting session on our weekly Wednesdays, right, on our talk shows. And we have talked about very interesting topics over the past couple of weeks, where we talk about a lot of dementia. We talked about social media, and we talked about a few other interesting topics that came by. And for the upcoming weeks, there's also a lot of other interesting topics that's also lined up. But today's topic is she is not an object. That's right. If you have seen our posters that we have been published or rather post in our social media, we want empowerment, right? But we should not be using the word empowerment anymore, right? Everybody have their rights and everybody have their ways to live their life, right? But why this topic, right? There's a quite a number of raising feedbacks that came to me and to my team, which talks about how women are facing a lot of challenges. If we can talk certain topic on that. So it always keeps me excited and puzzled to bring up new topics, and that's very interesting, it's very relevant, and most importantly, it must be very informative. So with that in mind, I always explore on bringing different expertise or different speakers on board. So for this topic itself, I have two great guest speakers. They are the expert in their field. Both of them are very well known in the industry. Both women empowerment. They live a fabulous life. They preach what they say and they say what they do. They are phenomenal friends of mine as well. I've done a couple of talks with the both of them. One of them is Vanitha. I think you all should know who is she. And another speaker is Vani. She's also an amazing speaker. I still remember we did few talks with her in the coffee shop itself previously. So let's not waste any more time, and I'm going to bring up my speakers up, and we're going to start up a great discussion here. But if you do have any questions along the way, please feel free to participate, because we want this talk to be very open, and at the same time to understand what people or what women think, or even men also, if you're there, if you're watching this, please give us your feedback. Or if you have certain things that you think, hey, this is not right, it's all about discussion. It's never about who is right, who is wrong. So without any ado, let me pull my first guest speaker, Vanitha.
Hello, good evening.
I saw you adjusting a bit, yeah?
Yeah, have to,
Okay. I mean,
image.
Yeah, it's okay. That's there you go, right? Because of your what you are doing. So before we start rolling on, I'm going to bring another speaker up. Let me just pull her. Where is she? She's not coming up.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Vani.
Mere Jaan.
Okay. Lady powers. So that's going to be a very tough decision here, because we have two ladies versus one guy. So let's see how host Vanz is going to handle these two ladies, right? Before we start on the topic, Vanitha, I know we have done many talks. Vani, we have done many talks as well in Kopi With Vans and even on our own. Before we start on, I think it's due fair that if you do a quick introduction of yourself, Vanitha, to our viewers, so that they at least they kickstart back again. So Vanitha, all yours.
Okay, I'm a certified image management coach. I own my own company, Style Etiquette. It deals with the grooming and styling and etiquette. Then I own my very own beauty pageant, International Miss and Mrs. Singapolitan worldwide. That's for the ladies. And for the men, of course, the man of substance. And with me standing is one of my fellow men of substance itself. One itself was one of my men of substance. So, yeah. So basically, I'm into so much of locally into grooming. And I love what I'm doing, passionate about women empowerment. I'm not gender equality. I'm not biased against anything, but all I just want to say is that empowering cannot just be a gender basis. It has to be something objective and has to be something instrumental and it has to grow. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you, Vanitha. As usual, you're always very humble in your introduction. But to viewers out there, Vanitha is a very good friend of mine as well. We are great partners. We have done numerous talk in Fish and Co. We have done in coffee shops. We've done everywhere. I remember we even done in your a studio as well, right? The bridal studio.
Yes,
So we
exactly.
talks. Great conversation with Vanitha, always in different topics. So it's my great pleasure to have you at Kopi With Vans. And I know you also have your own talk channel also, which is I wish you all the best. Maybe we can talk about that later on.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get Vani. Where's Vani? Vani?
Vani, where disappeared.
let me just pull Vani again. Vani, come on up.
Come.
All right.
That was a magic.
Okay, so Vanitha has already done an introduction. Maybe you want to do a quick introduction before we jump into the topic as more viewers are here right now.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me here once again. And I'm so excited that I'm with Vanitha. We always love talking to each other and we empower each other. So it's really beautiful. And my name is Vani and I am a humanitarian worker. I work for the safeguarding of children and women through my two organizations. One is in India called Faith Foundation. Another one is in Sanrakshan that works in the ASEAN region and also some of the work in India. Feminist by heart and also scientist. I am working as a postdoctoral fellow in Institute of Cellular and Molecular Biology associated with ASTAR. So yeah, that's an writer and poet at heart. Yeah, that's who I am.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Vani. Vani is very humble. She's supposed to have a doctor in front, but she's always remain as Miss Vani or Mrs. Vani, always without the doctor. But yes, Doctor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
And she's a good script writer, by the way.
Oh, of course, she is. Oh.
Yeah, that's how I know her.
She writes a lot of poems as well.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
some
how
poems
we know.
from her later on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so without any ado, our topic today is, of course, ladies. She's not an object. I mean, the reason we choose this topic is because I think there's a lot of viewers out there, and over the past 3 months, I have consolidated, and I think a lot of women want to be not to be praised, but to make sure that they not only the male population, but the female population to understand what are the women faces challenge day to day. Even the last talk that we had, we talked about 100 years ago, where me and Vanitha, we had a great debate. Right? But as things really changed, or is it the things going to be like that, or is woman still going to be suffering in silence? So these are all the things we talked about. But right now we're going into straight to the topic, which is she an object? Maybe Vanitha, in this topic, and Vani as well, we always have about 2 minutes to finish up so that we can jump on into more questions, and viewers probably they might also send us some questions so we can ask about that. So let's start up with Vanitha. She is not an object. What is your take on that?
Definitely, she's not an object for sure. Objection overruled. There's nothing for you to say. I mean, women, I know that it is seen as an object till now, sadly, but the fact is she's not an object. Just like you, any man, any human being, we are all someone, not a something. So that's it.
Okay, that's a very short and simple reply, but we will come back there again. Vani, what do you think? She's not an object.
She's definitely not an object, and but she's treated as one. So that needs to be changed. And everything that we have been doing is not working. So we have to really figure out solutions in order to change that perspective. And that can only happen with all of us coming forward and brainstorming and bringing in open views and open hearts.
Okay, both of you all have given a short reply. So my job here is to make it even more tougher. So Vanitha, okay, so this is where the kinderan come in, the kinderan?
The masala is a bit, yeah.
I'm quite expert in that. So, Vanitha, so this is the problem here, right? We know for the fact around the globe, right? We don't want to mention any countries. The issue with women is always been there. Even though we are in the 2020, as seem it's like we are still living in the 1800s or even in the 1900s. So we're talking about 100 years back. And things might not have changed at certain places. Of course, the modern city, everything is modern. But we do know there's a lot of things are happening. Why this topic is coming in is because So many things are happening in particular countries. In fact, few of the countries that we don't want to mention. But what is your take in that? That women are always being exploited in different angles, especially in marriage, especially as viewed as. What is your take on that?
Okay, I mean, before we go to the not so nice part, the positive part is that the women is also viewed as, something Mother Nature. We are
Okay.
women has also been said as the ship, the volcanoes. We also are in symbolized with Mother Nature. So that's the good part, that even though it kind of objects us with something, right? So the bad thing is that it has been down up from all the eras. I mean, from you name it, since the human life started back in the Flintstones, or maybe the age of the stone caveman. Women has been the objective of, say, like, she has to be the object of the home. Okay, this is what she is. She's the epitome of what we call, she has to be a mother. She has to be doing this. She has to go through all the shoulders of the responsibilities. Okay, responsibilities aside, there has always been a kind of symbols of saying that women represent sexuality. As much as we represent femininity, they always put sexuality, the woman's sexuality, in a different perception. Be it in adverts, be it in schools, be it in office, be it in any point of contact or media or platform, woman has been objective, and it sells well. Okay, it sells well, be it in the entertainment world, be it in any ways, it has to be, because now we are talking about selling factor, and women has been a selling factor in many other fields, be it in the modeling industry, be it in the pageant, being in the media, whatever industries, they always use women as an objective to portray feminism, to portray sexuality, to portray romance, to portray a lot of stuff, and at one point it was going on fine until people started to view it differently, because different people exploit it wrongly. Okay, in the media field. Okay, for example, how do they media field use a condom? For example, just look at a condom advertisement, how they exploit the entire woman thing.
But let
It
me
has
just
to be
ask,
something very
yeah,
natural.
let me just ask you something here. So when we talk about views and different perspectives here, that if I'm getting correct, but I'm going to
Yeah.
ask Vani about that. Vani, so do you think that, of course, you mentioned that woman is not an object at all, but is the way that a woman dress up, or the way she behaves, she gives a very wrong signals to the male. Could we take it that as an excuse, or could we take it that as a reason?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you something that I've been. There's this quote that we in the feminist world hear for a very long time. There was a picture of a woman who was wearing a short skirt, and there was a picture of a woman who was wearing a burqa. And under that, there's a quote. The skirt said, I faced it. And the burqa said, I faced it too. So I don't think it has anything to do with how we dress or what we wear or what we portray. It is much more deeper than that. Objectification starts right from the time when a woman is born. And the reason for that is because we have the power to carry child. We are the one who can give birth. Thus, we belong to someone who's going to put the seed in ourselves in order for us to bring out a child. That is, and then the family that we are born in, they know that she's not going to be the one who's going to bring the money to our family. She's the pariah dhan, or she's the one who's going to go away. Thus, we are investing in her, we are actually putting the money into her, and that's where the objectification starts, and that's where we have not been given the choice. So there's just like exactly like an object, right? We don't have an object. Let's say your computer one, and for example, um what is it? It's an object, right? Because there is something that you're getting from it. It doesn't have an autonomy, means it cannot decide for itself. It does not have, it is reduced to the body. I will either take a mag, or I will take silver, or I will take gold. And then it is reduced to the appearance, a thin computer or a fat computer or a tablet. So we are also being treated that way. It is all because of the boon that we have is that we can carry children, right? It starts right there from then and continues. And I don't
Okay.
think it has anything to do with how we dress.
Okay.
I would
So
like to add on something to Vani. Vani, I mean, I agree with you that what we wear does not actually kind of symbolizes our how we are being viewed. Because I'm an image coach, and you know that how much I value that how we dress up actually represents ourselves. But
Yeah.
being in this industry of this modeling world, in this pageantry world, people view the way that we dress up. For example, swimming costumes, bikinis, they are viewed as something that's very exploitingly. You know what I mean? Yes, I agree with you. It doesn't constitute anything. It's who wears it. But if the same person, someone looking at it, he say, "Oh, she's wearing it. She's showing it. She's asking for it." People
Yes.
always say she's asking for it.
So that's
So
that's
where?
the that is the problem of who's perceiving it, not who's wearing it.
Exactly. So it's never about the clothes. That's why I
It's
always tell
never
to
about the
ladies,
clothes.
because
Yes.
ladies
It's
always have this fear about wearing. I tell them, hey, for example, when I train a girls, say, hey, it's okay to wear some low cleavage. It's fine. You have it, you flaunt it. It's perfectly fine. But she will take it that, oh no, my father-in-law will say this, my mother-in-law will say this, my auntie will say this, my uncle will say this. But I was just telling, this is a woman's body. It's how you show it beautifully. It is not in a vulgar way. People
okay.
is not going to take it.
So this is where I'm stepping in, right? I mean,
Mhm.
one says to be conservative, one says, you can wear it. Okay, so now this thing, right? If you're wearing it in your own house, I mean, of course, there will be a lot of ladies who disagree to that. That'd be perfectly fine if you're wearing whatever to show wherever. But as long as you come to the public,
Mm.
wouldn't you be creating a different kind of an image? Will you be creating, because that's where the world is made of, different kind of people, and you never know who is around. Do you think that actually causes the problem? That somebody might, have a different perception.
the
What is
person who
Definitely.
will have the person who will have a different perception will have a different perception for every woman. you know the one who's sitting at home, the one who's mother, the one who's daughter, and the one who's on the road wearing anything. It is about the mentality. I don't think it is about what somebody is wearing. As just now Vanita said, it's a free world. In New York, if a man can if a man can remove the t-shirt and roam around, a woman can also remove the t-shirt and roam around, and it's equal rights. Who wants to do it, who doesn't want to do it, it has to be personal choice. It cannot be someone else's choice. And yes, what you said about, okay, then how about, like, if they are going, they will cause the problem. the that is what we have to work on, that if somebody is wearing what they are wearing and going on the street, there shouldn't be a problem. It is our job to make the street safe for people to be who they want to be and be safe there, not to tell the people, hey, you know what, you cannot dress in the shorts because it is unsafe there. Not this
okay?
way.
At this point in time, I'm going to bring up another speaker. Zia is online, so let's see what Zia's take on dressing. Hi, Zia.
Hi,
Hello,
Zia.
hello. Can you guys
Looks
hear
like
me?
you are really in a coffee shop. Kopi With Vans.
Except no copy
So
right now.
okay, so now the debate right now going on is the kind of how women dress up in the society and how it portrays an image. What is your take on that?
Well, I've been listening to you guys, and I have to admit it's true. People judge us based on what we wear. But then again, I believe that, yeah, she's not an object, but she's an object of beauty. And every woman has a way of her own style. We have heard cases in which grandmothers are also raped. Grandmothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not about beauty or anything. It's these men, they have lust and they are unable to control themselves. So everything is manageable, right? I ever spoken to one guy who asked me this question. The guy was a typical Malaysian man, and he asked me. He said, "I have since I traveled a lot." He asked me whether I've been to a nude beach. So I said, yeah, no, I have not been to one, but I've been to Hawaii where people are wearing bikinis and it's a norm. So he said, don't the men ogle at the women? I said, no, it's a norm. So I said, you know what will happen? I said, if you come with your wife wearing a burqa and she's like all covered up, at the beach in Hawaii, you know who will be attracting the attention? It's your wife, not the women in a bikini. So she is the strange one. And everybody
Okay.
will look at your wife.
Thank you, Zia. Thank you, Dan. So now we are moving on from the topic from dressing all right? We're shifting gears to get it more heated here. Talking about violence, right? We're talking about violence. I mean, we do all hear these often in fear, in silence of love, and so many other things that we are talking about. But why is it only particularly about women? There's always constantly going through violence, being victimized, and going under tremendous stress. Why do you think that this is always happening to the women's side, and what are the changes we can make for them to come up from there? Vanitha.
I think goes back to the all those years back. They've always been focused that woman goes through the pain, goes through the endurance of patience, goes through all the abusive. It goes back there, and then we just have to carry down that line and say, hey, as women, we must quiet, we must endure it. You have to be patient because you are the soul of the family. You are the bearer of the family. You have to go through this because that's what we are born for. So this has to be changed, and has been changing because when a woman speaks out, she's either called a bitch or she's called, oh, she cannot even manage a family. When a woman endures it, yeah, this is good. You endure it. She's a very good woman. She's enduring it. But who understands her pain? Who understands the violence of the pain that she's going through? Seriously, I just feel that it comes back to our own forefathers, our ancestors, Vanan, because a lot of the impact comes down from our heritage. So now we have to teach our youth. We have to put a stop to this. People has to stop putting women as an object that she has to go through this. She has to do this. There has not, even till now, Vane, I'm being very frank with you. My husband sometimes has a very difficult view whenever my daughter wears a short skirt and she wears a bit revealing and low. Okay. And I'm pretty cool about it. But he can kind of like he gets on me and said, hey, you are the mother. How can you not, I said to him, it's fine. At my time, my father and mother controlled me. Why? I understand that wearing a certain clothes, it's the way they see that a woman shouldn't wear like this, the way our society, our relatives will see. But I told, this is my daughter. If she's going to wear this, I'm not going to judge that this is how she's going to behave. She's not a slut. She's wearing it because she's wearing it according to her age. This is the trend. This is the fashion. So why are we stopping her? If you are going to stop her the moment, that's where her mindset is going to be saying that this is wrong. It'll go back to her daughter. She will stop her daughter. As long as you tell the kid or the child that this is the boundaries, I think wearing a clothes tight fitting, low fit is nothing. It's nothing wrong. Is what I
Okay,
feel.
Vanessa, I'm going to stop you for a while, sorry, because we have a question that came. So I'm going to pose it to Vani, because Vani is a little expertise in this area, where she have done numerous volunteering jobs. Vani, so the question is from this viewer by the name of Deepam. Is because women are considered the weaker sex or gender?
Yeah. Wait, let me first say this, that it is not always, definitely sexual assault is a gender-based crime. And I absolutely agree to that. But also at the same time, it is not true that it's completely only happens with women only. It also happens to men. We don't hear it because the men are told not to speak. The men don't talk about it. It is further very shameful for a man to come and say that, hey, I have gone through this experience. But having said that, in my whole journey of 10 years of doing this work, I have often also came to know about men going through sexual assault and domestic violence and suffering silently. Having said that, because a woman is a weaker sex or a weaker gender, the way it is perceived, definitely. Is there? Okay. Yeah, because the way it is perceived that a woman is a weaker gender, definitely because of that, there is a lot of assault that happens on women. Also, because we want to control, we want to the person who's a perpetrator want to have a power in his hand, and thus what to do, if I want to have control over, or if I want to satisfy my pleasure and I want this woman to have it, I will just go whichever way it is possible for me to do it. And hence, if I have to rape this person, if I have to rape this woman, I will rape it because of as what Vanita said, the conditioning that has been done for so long, right from our forefathers, right from our grandfather's time, grandmother's time, it has been a patriarchal society. So yes, it is a crime that is based into gender deeply, but at the same time, also men face sexual assault is what I want to sort of put it here.
We'll have
Yeah.
another topic on men or is an object.
We will come back to that on the violence part and the stuff that you have done over a period of time when you were volunteering. But now I'm going to ask Zia. Zia, is that the reason why that we are talking about is because of the equality? Do you think that one of the reasons could be the equality? That's why it's not there at all. Because if you look at it, most of the time, women are always being classified as certain areas, right? If you look at the kitchen, they conquer. If you look at, teaching kids and doing a lot of other stuff. But that doesn't mean that man is not doing it. Men also doing it. But is it because of the gender equality, like what one of our viewers has asked? Is it because of the sex or the gender equality?
I think it boils down to, I mean, if we are going to do anything about it, and it's not about gender equality, I think it's about empowering women to know what are their rights. It's important that women know where they stand and also understand what is the value, their value. A lot of women out there have probably low self-esteem, and and growing up, they were not told that they are of value. They are always told you're not good enough, you're not like that. So it comes full circle, from when you grow up, you have low self-esteem, you marry somebody, that person says the same thing, you accept. I think if you grew up with um the background of strong, having brothers and sisters, and who teach you otherwise, that even though you're a girl you can do things like any boys can, then you won't have that problem. So I think it's all about perception. It's all about empowerment, and women must understand they have value. I find a lot of women nowadays, they don't understand their value. They don't understand their worth, their self-worth, and that's why they accept it. You see, but we are in the 21st century now. I mean, women are educated. Why do they still feel this way? I
But,
begin
do-
to
but, but,
wonder.
but I'm going to stop you here for a while. But do you still agree that even at this point in time, as we speak, there are still some who are still in silence because of the situation? Because I'm sure Vanita will agree to that because we had a great debate on the previous
Exactly.
topic where we talk about women, right? But even though the society is still moving ahead with lots of help, with lots of helplines and that, but there's still a group of a certain percentage. We don't have the percentage. A certain percentage is still going through a tremendous period of time, unhappiness because of certain, we talk about equality. But if that can be changed, now I'm going back to Vani, please.
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
So, in the society right now, there's a lot of things are happening, even though a lot of women are, doing different kind of roles.
Mm,
But
mm,
in short, in nutshell, the role of a woman in today's world has changed significantly for better. That's for sure. But there's still a significant that is still suffering in silence because of the situations, because of the circumstances that has happened to them. Because maybe the husband can be a very authority for certain angles we are looking at the breadwinner. What is your take in that?
Yeah, definitely. At the moment, it is just the scratch on the surface. There's a lot of like like how you see the iceberg. There's like little bit of peak up there, and then there's whole iceberg down there under the sea. So there are so many women who still haven't found their voice and suffering in silence. Um, Often as it could be self-esteem, as what Gia said, but also at the same time, we have not been we have not been told that we have choice, right from the beginning when we are born. Since then we have not been told that we have the choice. Hey, what, listen, you have a choice to not to be in the kitchen, you have a choice to wear what you want, you have a choice to go out and play with the girls or the boys, you have a choice to choose your life partner, you have a choice to pleasure your body the way you want to pleasure your body. Have we been told these things? No. So how are we going to very quickly get the equality when we don't even know what to ask for? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Awareness,
now,
Vani.
so
That's what
Vanitha,
you're trying to say. Awareness.
so going back to Vanitha, I mean, as a coach, right? You have done many pageants. You have met many women who have shared you more than supposed to be what's happening in the pageant. But what is your take in being yourself? Are you just worried about society? What society is going to talk about you? Whether you do something, society will talk. When you don't do something, society will still talk. Is that the worst that you're going to get into it and be hurt and don't move ahead, or you just be yourself? What is your take in that?
First of all, who is society? Today, when we talk about somebody else, we are the society, right? We also become the roles of society, right? So we are not spared. We also talk about other people. The moment when you stop doing it, nobody's going to talk about that. Because see, Vane, it's a real world out there. You have to accept that we are in the world where we are judged. We cannot deny that. But whether we have a choice now. Those days we don't have a choice. Now we have a choice. We have a choice. I was brought up in a way, it's very, very grounded family. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. It took me years to come out from the cocoon to accept that I need to be this way, to look at it differently. It's totally nothing wrong. People judge me, my character, by the way I wear clothes. They think that I go clubbing. They think I socialize. They think I drink, I smoke just by wearing certain clothes. So when people judge you, people do judge, and you cannot be, how shall I say, get over it by that kind of judgments. So I was not affected. When I was in the younger days, I was affected, but as I grow old and really know the people and I know into this image coaching, I totally understand. That's why many girls fail to come and get themselves to see. There's a personality with all of us. There's a character. We have the secondary character and a primary character. So it's perfectly fine for us to look good, and to look good is nothing vulgar. It's nothing wrong. It is the people who are viewing it, seeing us. That is the vulgar. That is their eyes. Beauty is the eye of a beholder. So they see us differently. What can we do? It's their bloody problem. It's not my problem to change my dressing just because the society is not accepting me as like this. Oh, she's a mother of 2. Why is she wearing like that? She's a mother of 5. Why is she wearing like that? She's so and so wife. Oh my God, what she was wearing.
So Anita, so to add on to that, you said 10 years to the society.
Just seriously, just seriously, you have to, even to your own family members, to be very honest with you, to your own family members is the first thing.
Okay. So let's see what other ladies are saying about. We will come back there, but now we are going back to Zia. Zia, okay, it ranges from self-strength to efficiency building of a woman, but right now in the current situation, women are the most powerful. Certain of the women are very high powerful CEOs. Our empowerment of women can be categorized in 5 main parts: social, educational, economic, political, and psychological as well. What is your take on that? I think you need to, okay, let me just unmute it. All right, can you hear me now? Okay. Right now. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Very
okay. Yep, so I think a woman is a force to be reckoned with. She is capable of many things in life, whether it's social, political, economics. I myself am involved in, a political group, but I'm not a politician though. But
soon
maybe in the future, soon to be. So I act as a what do we call it, head of education here. I believe that women, when they're empowered with all the right elements, they can do and achieve whatever it is that they hope to achieve. It's just that they need to know which direction, how to get there. And by having knowledge, they will move towards that direction. I have had friends who are in dilemma in their marriage. They don't know what to do. And the husband is telling them, oh, you're useless. You'll never get this. You'll never get that. But because she doesn't do her homework in knowing what are her rights, whether it is to the children, to the property or whatever, she's scared. So I told her, do your homework. If you need an exit plan your exit. find out what you need to find out, and then go shoot real bullets. Don't shoot empty bullets. When you have something, then you can do something about it. But if you have nothing, how can you fight? Right? So yeah, I have seen women. I mean, I tell you, I love Margaret Thatcher. She is really the Iron Lady. I really salute her. There's so many other women there, which is so, I would say, inspiring. And someday when I grow up, I want to be like them.
That's a good one, Des. Yeah, thank you. So we're going to change gear a little bit and going back to Vani. Vani, I mean, you have done number of years of volunteer job, and those are very emotional. I don't know what to say. I mean, I know some of the work that you have done, but you know, in modern society, girl and woman are generally expected to dress in a typical feminine ways and be polite, accommodating, nurturing. Well, men are generally expected to be strong, aggressive, and bold, and blah 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 blah. Right? But do you think that these kind of expectation can be put into a certain countries where a lot of things are happening? We don't want to mention countries. We don't want to name about anything. We don't want to name any groups. But do you think this can be emphasized or should be taken away?
It has to be taken away because nobody can do everything. You can't expect a woman to go out in the office, come back, cook food, look at the children, after that clean the dishes, after that do the laundries. It is not possible. I mean, you can probably buy Siri or Alexa to do things like that. And there also you have to pay. And in most of the country, the women have to give dowry and do all this work. It's not fair. It has to be changed. So, and because of this only why there are so many women who are not able to perform in their job when they've been given the job. They say that it's a bad investment. Why is it a bad investment? Because a woman is stressed at all front of her life. And it's hard time that this expectation has to stop, not just by the family members and husbands, but also by the women themselves. You cannot do it all, darling. You have to take rest. You have to rejuvenate, and you have to live the way you want to live.
Yeah, our staycation is waiting, Vani.
Yes,
we
yes,
also
yes.
have a viewer also say that this perception should change. So they do agree. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if everybody just minding their work, things are not going to change. Voices changes, voices make some efforts to changes. But do you think by creating awareness, by creating some changes, do you think eventually it will reach? Vanitha?
Absolutely.
Awareness is very important, Vanan. It has to come from home. You can't start anywhere else. Home is the place you should start your awareness. Teach your kids, teach your son to respect women. Teach your kids not to raise hands. Teach your daughters to make them feel that, hey, I'm not just born to clean the house. Men also, and my brother has to do it. My father has to do it. Because you cannot let the daughter see that my mother is doing everything. And that's where she's going to be perceived and saying that, hey, you see, all along my mother is the one doing, my father is watching TV or my father is not doing something. You know, it has to be starting from home. Now, nothing else. I mean, this is what I've been telling to everybody. Awareness cannot come. You can go to Google and read, and you can attend courses and workshops, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't instill it at home, the mothers instilling it to the daughters, to their sons, the father instilling to their daughters and to their sons, this will not create any awareness. Seriously, it has to come from forefathers. It has to come from your own very own blood, your own self. I don't believe you can search this anywhere else. You have to start from here, from your own home. This is where we spend the time. Only then the child goes to school, the child is able to share it to another child, and it gets a ripple effect. Because I always believe a Prince Charming can only become from where it comes because it is from the mother. Teaching the son, hey, not to raise your hands to your wife. Hey, not to raise hands to your girl, not to abuse her. It has to come from the mother. Okay, it starts from home.
I'm going to pause you here for a while. Maybe the other two ladies also will agree. Maybe you might disagree. I'm not sure. But probably you agree, they might disagree. But whatever the case is, do you think, you know, the male, right? Of course, anyone who eats a woman is definitely not a male. He's not even an animal. He may be classified as a monster. All right. But of course, depending on the circumstances or whatever, but still Violences is no, no, no. But imagine if now, okay, you have a daughter, all right, example, and do you train your daughter to be say, you know what, you have to be bold, you have to be confident, you have to be full of determination and full of enthuse, right? But in the relationship, if your husband beats you for some reason, what your advice will be to her? Vanitha?
So you mean if my daughter sees me getting beaten by my husband?
Yeah. No, her husband. Yeah. What?
Oh,
Yeah.
if my daughter gets beaten by her
Yeah.
husband in future,
Yeah.
if I see it,
Yeah.
first of all, I'll ask her what triggered it. Obviously, I need to know. All right. First thing, obviously, I need to know the foundation because it's the husband, right? As a mother, I'm concerned. First of all, it's the safety. I see if she's safe, and secondly, of course, I want to know what triggered it. You know, and then the third thing is that I didn't want, like, for me, I always don't want to make this a big hoo hoo ha ha. I will straight go to the guy there and ask him, "Do you have any issue? Do you have an problem with my daughter?" I think raising hand is the big no. Vanitha
Okay.
will bangra towards the husband, man.
So you put background music, is it? Okay. Too much info about the house. Okay, Lazia. So what do you think? I mean, as parents, we are all young parents. So our kids, what kind of kids that we should brought up in the society? I mean, not to have.
Okay.
I mean, got it.
Firstly, Vanitha, if somebody hits my daughter, I will hit him first. Then I will question. Okay?
I
No,
don't
I
want
hit
to
my daughter.
no violence. Okay, no violence against violence.
I'm sorry. I gave birth to her. She came out from my bloody dead thing. It hurts like shit, and he gets to hit her. F him. Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow. Okay, she's getting my.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
I'm sorry.
I
He
know
don't get
Zia,
to
I know
touch her
Zia.
that way. Okay.
You got support.
Secondly, of course.
I got to stop you for because you got a good support. People say well said. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the way I look at things. You hit her, I hit you first. Then I question, why the hell did you do that? I mean, well, you deserve it. But of course, I will ask what triggered and blah, blah, blah. I mean, after you simmer things down, the way I see it, yeah, Vanitha is right. Everything comes from the mother. If you have a strong-willed mother who educates her children, whether boys and girls, everybody have to do housework, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you get things, the boys will respect women. And if you look at it carefully as well, if you see children with the youngest is a boy, right? The youngest is a boy, and he has sisters. He's different from the boy who's an eldest boy, and then he has younger sisters. Their reaction is different. The way they treat women is different. So I think the people who surround you while you're growing up, your parents, the way they bring you up, has everything to do with the way you are today. I mean, like, for example, me, I was always strong-willed, and I did everything at home. I was the perfect daughter. I cook, clean, go to school, study, do great with grades and everything. So when I got married, I thought I had to be the perfect wife. But in the end, my husband says, you don't have to do everything yourself. And I didn't ask you to cook every day. I said, why not? Isn't that my duty? And my husband said, well, my mother never did all that. She had to work. So, she didn't have to do everything. So I expect the same thing. If you have to work and you can't cook, then that's fine with me. So I told him, why didn't you tell me for the last 19 years? F. So I think it really depends on the way the children are brought up. It goes back to your parents. If our parents empower us with such values, yeah, you'll get this kind of person. But then if you get the type whom I think typically a lot of some families, the mother does everything and the children do nothing. So especially for the sons, everything the mother do. So when they get married, they expect their wives to do the same thing too. So that is the biggest problem. So we should.
Back to you in a while. We're going to come back to you a while. I'm going to push it back to Vani because Vani, in your wondering the number of years that you have done, you have seen actual cases. You've been there, and we had a great conversation. certain cases that you have to enter in psychologically and physically. You got to be fit. And I know we had this conversation. If you don't mind, I'm sharing. And you know, it's very, very troubling. You know, sometimes your actual scenario that's in front of you, and you have handled that. So it can be mentally and physically drained in certain countries that you went and given your assistance with your team and group. How do you manage that when you see some of the worst cases that in your eyes, in front of your eyes?
Yeah, there's always protocol for that. But before I come to that, I just want to, since the question that you raised about some a husband hitting a wife, it is domestic violence, even if it is one slap or if it is like a continuous beating. It is domestic violence. It is an unhealthy relationship. And both Vanita and Zia, the way they have spoken about it with so much of passion, um, uh, with the rational response and with the impulsive response, both are the responses that we will give when we are the mothers of a child who's suffering through domestic violence. However, for a child to know that what is a relationship that is toxic. If there is somebody slapping you, hitting you, even if it has happened for once, it is a toxic relationship and it needs to be worked out. There is no excuse for it. Either you, if it is happening and happening again and it is beyond your tolerance level, whether it's one slap or more, you have to walk out of it. If you think there is something that you want to do in order to save this relationship, please go out and get professional help with the counselor, with your husband or your partner to sort it out. There's no other way.
Okay, so Vani has said it. It's not once, it's not twice, no warning shot, Vanita. You know, there can be one shot first, then two shot, then third shot, make a judgment. How about you? What do you think? You will still say second chance should be given, third chance should be given. So when is that line that you're drawing?
Like I said, when you think that there is a threshold, my point still stays. You know, like every family has gone through years of relationship. Every family is not just 5 years. Some are going through 50 years, 30 years, 40 years. So you just can't throw away a relationship based of one time or two times. I always believe that an opportunity should be given to the other party to explain that the cause of the action, because every action has its consequences. So if that person is willing to accept the consequences and realize that mistake, the second chance should be given. But if the person is not willing to accept it and say sorry, then fine, go on and do what is necessary to end or salvage or whatever is necessary to stop this abuse. And my stand is still clear from there to now, still clear.
Okay, so now we'll go back to Zia. So Zia, what is your point in that? So is there such thing as first warning shot, second shot, warning shot? Because Vani has said very clearly, she's not giving any shot. There's no shot should be given. All right.
No, no,
Violence
no.
is a violence.
Wait. I have said that the violence cannot be there in the relationship. You want to
Now,
give a shot to your marriage? You want to give a shot to your marriage? You have to go and sort it out. You have to take professionals' help, but the person cannot do it again.
so there's
It
no
is your
first warning shot.
control. Sorry?
So Vani, you're saying there's a first warning shot,
N-
verbal warning.
No, up to the person. If it is up to me, there will be no shot.
She will just shot him. Okay. All right. So
No,
that's
it will walk away.
okay.
Well, I
This very
definitely
important.
agree with Vani.
Once is a bit different lah. Once go show empathy a bit lah.
So this is the thing, right? I mean, certain women are very patient, years and years and years. You know, there's a lot of abuse that we talked about, right? Emotional abuse, threats, violence. You know, different kind of exploitations happening, or different kind of mask, or different way of manipulative, right? But even though some women are just literally so patient, you know, they just want to endure and endure and endure to a point where there's no endure. You know what I mean? But how are we going to reach to these people and say that this is not right, this shouldn't be? But for them, it's become so comfortable. So do you think?
Comfortable.
Yeah, because it's so comfortable, because they've been enduring that for the past donkey years.
That means the pain becomes pleasurable already, you're telling.
You know, what's the point of changing now? Right? What's the point of
No, I
changing? So
think
just
I think what she's trying to say is she begins to accept it is part of her life.
Immune.
It's something
It's part of her
acceptable
life.
to her. Yeah, it's not immune. It's acceptance. This is the way my life is. The way my father used to beat up my mother. So
Yeah.
and she accepted it. So hence I probably this is my life too. So I accept it. So it's something that we have to tell them. You don't have to. If you can't stand it, you don't have to accept it, right? So everybody's different. We're not our mothers. We are ourselves, and we have to understand our value. At the same time, that's why I keep saying we have to tell them what is their worth. They don't understand how valuable they are. They don't understand how important they are.
She got stuck. She's
She
like
she
freezing.
she's frozen.
So
Oh
so
yeah, what else
that's
do you
that's my
know?
take
Yeah.
lah. I think
Okay.
violence
I think
at any point of time shouldn't even start. you know and
Okay.
once is to me is more than enough.
Okay. So you
I
got
think
stuck there, the face, the moving. Yeah. Money.
I would also say on this, often this is called vicious cycle in the world of us, like our trainers, and when we work, it's called vicious cycle of violence. It is very difficult for many women to get out of a relationship, even though how much ever you say that, okay, I will walk out. I mean, I'm talking about present, I'm not talking about the future generation. Definitely to future generation, it's our responsibility to tell them that it's not okay for somebody to raise hand on you. But for the women to walk out of a violent relationship, it is definitely difficult. And that is why there are other ways, there are other things that could be done about it, wherein teaching them how to do safety planning, creating the circle of trust around them with whom they can talk if the situation is getting out of control. Because often there is a lot of emotional, they are emotionally attached to this person, or also in case of intimate partner violence, often they have created a life together and they have children together. So it is not so easy for a woman to just walk, and thus there are other things, other ways to sort of give support to these women till the time they are ready to walk out of the abusive relationship.
Okay, so now I'm just pulling up another statistics, but of course I'm erasing off the countries because at any no point time we should be talking about countries at due respect, whatever situation they might having. But it is stated, let me just blank that off, that 73 seconds sexually assaulted, and every 9 minutes that a child is a victim. That victim is a child.
Mhm.
This is globally, right? It's globally kind of stat
Mm.
that we are. I mean, that's a bit alarming as well. Vani, in your cases that you have attended, what is the? I mean, if you can share with us and our viewers, what is the case that you have attended and you really uh, stand away from the situation because you couldn't handle it because it's that's emotional. What kind of share some of your experiences?
I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, in terms of
Okay.
emotion.
Yeah. I think a lot of them, like I have, even when I've gone on the rescue situations, or I've been working with the survivors, often if I have not done my personal energy work properly, or set out my boundaries properly, I end up being so emotional and burnt out. I remember once a situation, it was long time back in my career, not now. I have been called on this news channel, and they didn't tell me that I have to sit in front of the child who has been molested. And the father has left the child, and the child was with the mother. And the mother had few lovers coming in and out every night in the house. And when the mother is involved with one of the lovers or one of the person, she will leave the child to other people, and they can then do whatever they want to do with the child. And the child suffered a lot of burn marks from cigarette, and also they poked needle on him. So I really didn't know that they will be putting me across this child. and I wasn't ready for it, and it was a very difficult moment for me to sort of even be able to say something. And I got personally involved. I was very concerned about the child later on, and I wanted to go to the village. I wanted to make sure that the child is okay till the time that uh, back then the partner of the guy who was partner in my foundation, he has to sit me down and tell me to come back to my mines and do the work. And the other such situation was when I was standing, and I can't really reveal a lot about this one, but I was campaigning for creating safer spaces for children, and right in front of me there was an abuser who's known to have children in his house, and rape them and molest them, was standing in front of me and getting glorified. And I wasn't able to do anything about it, and that still remains a scar to me.
Thank you, Vani, for sharing your experiences. I mean, you have done amazing work over the years, which I know. So now we're coming back to Vanitha, the chili padi, right? Vanitha. So Vanitha, so do you think there will be a solution, right? Because we've been talking, this is the second part. We talked about this again. You as a coach, right? I mean, for women, you know what color to wear, what kind of beard, or what guys, girl, everything is in your hands. But now the question is this: when a woman start dressing up, when she start to wear heels, and when she start to wear lipsticks and kind of stuff, and going out in the society, I mean, different, like we talk about, different men have a different conception, perception as well. It's okay to admire the beauty, but it is not okay to go in deeper. But how can we stop
See,
this
no touch
as
lah.
a society? Sorry?
See, no touch lah.
Yes. That's why I'm coming up. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of different characters. But your statement earlier on was saying that the society will stop anyway. They will still talk.
Yeah.
They will give judgment. So how does a woman overcome that?
Simply, you need to make sure that you have a high self-esteem. Say seriously, you have to have your own. You have to ensure that you are independent, and you have to have the high quality of yourself. The moment you start to dress up for other people, the problem starts. You want to be sexy for yourself or sexy for your partner? You want to be beautiful for yourself or beautiful for another friend? You envy and wearing that dress because you want to look good for the other person or for yourself. If you are very crystal clear why you are dressing up, to look good, to respect yourself, to love yourself, that's where all the other criticisms and other issues will stop. This is what I coach. You need to first understand why you need to dress up and respect your own self first before you allow other people to talk about you. Okay, I ask you very simply, whether you wear it or not, whether you wear sexy or don't wear sexy, what is sexy actually? Sexy is actually a mentality, Vanan. It's not the clothes that we wear. You can be sexy in your batik nightie at home. You can be sexy even in a whole jeans when you're covered up. It's a mentality. So I always say, ladies, sexiness is not based on the clothes that you wear. It's how you perceive. You can feel sexy in whatever you wear because it's an emotion. It's a feeling. Okay. So dressing should come where you want to represent yourself. If you start dressing up for other people, and if a concern of other people is going to be only watching you and telling you, hey, you are sexy, you're hot and all that, then it defeats the purpose. Then you'll get scared. You'll be wearing a beautiful lingerie, you'll be wearing a beautiful gown, you'll be keeping it in the cupboard and dreaming, oh, I'll be wearing it, and take your own selfie and wondering which era you'll be wearing that. And I trust you, you'll never be able to wear it because you'll be wearing what other people are going to say. So this is what my co-standard. I'm telling to all the ladies there, whether I'm going to coach them, I'm coaching them. You need to first understand, love yourself. You need to know what is your actual body shape. You need to embrace yourself. You know yourself. Then you just dress accordingly to your class, your style, your body shape. It's fine. That's it.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you for that true words, what you have said, based on your coaching experience. Yeah, your take on dressings and judgments. I mean, of course, you are a very straight lady. All the F words are coming up. Hold on to the horses. Hold on to the horses tight. I mean, for a few women, they might be there because I mean, of course, in where we live, it's. I mean, of course, it's pretty way much more in order. But of course, like I said, we don't want to mention other country names. But in Singapore itself, I mean, if you know, do you think there will be an issue like for dressing up and anything that might happen because of the dress?
I think in Singapore we are pretty safe, lah. You know. But first, let me apologize. Pardon my French. um, I can be very passionate about certain things. Yeah, but I think for me, it doesn't matter whether you dress sexy or whether you dress modestly. And like Vanita says, being sexy is actually a state of mind. And you can wear very modestly, but still you can walk very sexily. You know, it's all about you. It's about your aura and the way you project it. If for me, a woman is an object of beauty. I also look at women. I love looking at women who are beautiful, you know. And where I'm from, as a Malay woman who is full figured, I have men who ogle at me all the time, and they tell me about it, and I said, okay, good for you, you know, enjoy it while it lasts. But as far as I'm concerned, Singapore is not a big major problem. But if you do go to certain countries, I think you should understand what they are like because you're in a foreign country. So probably dressing up a little bit more modest might help you not get into trouble. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's not your country. You know what I mean? So you're there as a guest. You never know. It's a foreign country. So you gotta behave yourself. I mean, like when I was in Malaysia, I wanted to go to the mosque to pray, and I couldn't go in if I was not modestly covered. In fact, they gave me a robe and a tudung to cover up to go into the masjid, you know, to pray, which I thought it was all wrong because I go there for the intention to do my prayers. But still, I have to adhere to their rules and regulations, so I respect that because it's their country and not mine. So, but I think in Singapore, no issue. I think men here kind of know where they stand, and we're all pretty liberal here. We got almost 6 million people living in Singapore, so and I think a quarter of that are foreigners. So we are pretty multiracial, metropolitan. Our thinking is different.
Thank you, Zia.
A
Thank
bit
you
more
for that.
advanced. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, Vanan, coming back to this, do you
Yeah.
remember there was once a case of a breastfeeding in public in Singapore?
Yeah,
There was a
quite some
lady who was
time back, right?
breastfeeding in the Starbucks. There was a big
Yes.
issue about it.
I think
How we perceive it's how we perceive seeing the boobs.
yeah.
The same
I
is
think
nurturing a child, and people is telling it's an obscene thing.
yes. Absolutely. And I think I also have to add to that because this is the perception. See, sexual violence happens in each and every country. And Singapore is also not spare of it. I have worked in sexual assault care center of Aware. If there were no and there was a help, there is a helpline, and if there were no cases, there won't be a helpline, and I would have not been paid the salary that I was paid, right, for that job. And every day we received calls. Every day the helpline was ringing from morning till evening, and there were times that we had to we didn't have enough people to take the calls. So that's the amount of sexual assault that exists. And I'm not going to, and I'm not saying that it exists only in Singapore. It exists everywhere.
Every corner of the world. Yeah.
Every corner of the world. So so we have to we as women, we face it everywhere, no matter whether the country is very progressive like Singapore, or it is a democratic country like US, or it is a country like India. Let's just say I said it, I took the names. I don't care. But it
But it was said very well.
everywhere.
It was said very well.
It exists
Okay, Vani, so
everywhere.
we are now coming back to you. So your advice to women out there. Your advice.
I am no one to give advice, and I would just say that live your life and do what you believe in. and live your dreams. Find your voice, look for the support if you want to heal. If you are in a toxic relationship, slowly, one by one, figure a way out to get out of it. And yeah, you are an amazing, amazing creature. Just be your true self, and just be, and just spread love. Yeah, that's it. I don't have any special advice.
Vani, I got a question for you right now because there's this viewer wish not to be named.
Mhm.
Since you have been involved in humanitarian work, how
Mhm.
were you able to handle family violences, especially from the other party? Which I believe she's mentioning about the husband. It says aggressive and violence. How do you able to handle that?
How do I able to handle that
Yeah. I mean,
personally?
she's asking for herself. I
Okay,
think
I
because she's
understood. I
very
understood. Sure, sure,
PNC.
sure. Uh, if you are in a violent situation, first of all, you have to get out of it. You have to walk out of it. But I also understand at the same time that there are so many other complications. So seek support. If you are in Singapore, you can call various helpline. Aware is one such helpline where you will get the much needed support, even if you are at the moment not ready to walk out of the relationship. Number two, if you want to walk out of the relationship, again, you can get supports from the family service centers. You can call them up. You can even have, if let's say the house is dangerous for you, there are shelter homes where you can go and stay, and you can stay till the time it is safe for you to have your own space. Third is, if you want to sort of lodge a complaint or a court case against the person, you can again call these service centers and get the help of a lawyer. Often they come free of cost, or they come at a very little cost. Um, and if nothing else works, and if you're still stuck in that situation, I have a safety planning video that I can share with Vanan later. Vanan, you can put that link there.
Sure.
You can do safety planning for yourself, about what to do if you are stuck in a violent situation. For example, keep an extra phone with you. Keep that phone somewhere where nobody can find it. Keep a lock and key to a room that is all for yourself. Have the numbers of the people handy with you so that you can reach out whenever you can. Connect to one or two of your neighbors and tell them that there might be a situation where I might have to come to your house, and in case of any other emergency, call 999, that is police. And
Thank
I've
you.
only spoken about it from Singapore's context. Please find out in your specific country what are these numbers, and what are the family service center and other centers that can provide you them. And one, and I will share with you the safety planning video.
Thank you. I'm going to flash it out the number of the hotline, which I just managed to get it. So the hotline number is here. Bunny, is that right? 1-800-777-5555 from Monday to
Absolutely.
Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Do you want to talk a little bit of the Aware Society Women's Helpline in Singapore so that people, I mean, viewers who might seeing this might get some help or some information about Aware?
Absolutely. Aware um, is a is an organization that works for women and also other genders too, all other genders as well. And they have various services. One is called Sexual Assault Center. Another one is Women's Service Center. So if you are going through any kind of issues which is related to sexual violence, you can call the Sexual Assault Center. You can go to their website. They will be having the number there. And if a case is a hot case, they will be immediately taking you up and helping you out. You will be assigned to a case manager, and then your case will be taken care of from there onwards. Similarly, if it is a case of domestic violence or assault, you can reach out to Aware's Women Care Center. I don't represent them anymore, but they are doing an amazing, amazing work, and you can definitely reach out to them whenever you want. Along with that, whichever neighborhood you are staying in, there has to be a family service center associated with it. You can reach out to that service center's line as well. Sanrakshan has done a campaign that's along with Women in Asia. It's called Look for Them. I have last time shared with Vanan and he has shared it.
Sure.
We will again share the same campaign which has all these numbers which you can reach out to.
Thank you, Vani, for it, and thank you all speakers. So this is the emergency number. I mean, if you have any doubt or not sure, like what Vani has suggested, these are the helpline number 1-800-777-5555 from Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Remember that? I think it's more to say well controlled in Singapore compared to a lot of other
Yes.
places. But then again, we cannot be in denial because some might be just going through some emotional threat, whatever the situation is. So we always have to look out for the stress sign. I ever see a video that, when a woman is under stress, they give certain kind of hand signal. Is that right, Vani?
Yes.
You show like a
Yes.
hand signal, like, I need help or something
Yes.
like that. There you go.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think so. You need that in Singapore, right? If somebody's doing that to you, you don't say bye-bye to them. It's really emergency, right?
Yeah, it is emergency. This. It's emergency. It's a beautiful video. Maybe in the comment section you can share that video too.
Yes,
More
I will do
people
that.
know.
I will do that.
Yeah.
To create awareness. But thank you so much for Vani, Zia, and Vanitha for joining us for almost 1 hour, 11 minutes. We do make a change, even though if it's reach out to 1 people or 100 people, that doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it is reaching to few people. And today we talked a lot of stuff. Of course, we can keep on talking with all the 3 of you with different expertise. We got Zia, the F lady. Anything only she will shoot. Right, and then we got Vanitha, the chili padi, and then we got the cool Vani. She will, cool, and she said, "Whatever it is, I will shout it. There's no final one."
You think she's cool, right? She's not cool, okay?
Yeah, she's not cool, but she will just shout it. That's why she said it. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining in. Of course, we will put the information there that we have some messages that came in, so later we can take it on that. Thank you once again for joining us in this topic. She's not an object. Of course, it's a big topic. We can be talking it for hours and hours, but we try to keep it as short as possible. I mean, very key, important points to make it a valid standpoints here as well. All right, thank you, Zia. Thank you, Vani. And thank you, Vanitha. We will catch up again. Maybe we all should go for coffee soon.
We shall.
Sure.
All right, let's take it off. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.
Bye-bye, Zia. Bye-bye, Vani. All right, so that comes to the end of Kopi with Vans. I hope this topic, she is not an object, right? Like we mentioned that this topic can go on for hours. There's so many diversion we can talk about, so many different segments, sexually, violence, emotional, physical, so on and so forth. But the whole point there is to make sure that no one suffers in silence. It's good that a lot of our viewers that actually reached me, of course, no name mentioned here as usual, but it's very good to see a lot of you reach to me and different topics that you want to, and I will do the utmost together with my expertise and guest speakers to come up with different topics time to time. But I think the whole interest here is to create awareness, to create the kind of confidence if you ever need, if you need some help, I mean, that's what we all for, right? We don't just live a life for ourselves and move on. Okay. As we head on to the path, if we see someone who needs help genuinely, then we got to pull them up, not just being showing off the hands all like that and walking away. No, it's never been like that. Even though we are not human beings, right? With that, we have come to the end of Kopi With Vans. She is not an object. We already have few more speakers that's lined up for the next couple of weeks, which is going to be on medical. We're going to talk a little bit on science. Maybe we might even have the microbiologist to come again to talk a little bit on the COVID. We have Dr. Harinder Singh, who's our guest speaker, who's been joining also on a regular basis with Kopi With Vans. So lots of exciting things happening, lots of information, and I thank everyone on your support to make a difference. So our wisest will definitely make a change in terms of information and in terms of knowledge. So for now, signing off, Kopi With Vans. This is your host, Vanz. For now, ciao. Bye-bye.